Hey, it's your Wisconsin wine guy, and I am back again with another wine review. Now, today's episode is going to be completely different from the rest. Normally, there are wines that are coming from different stores that you can purchase every day, but as you can see to my right, Wine Insider. Your Wisconsin wine guy was tapped on the shoulder by Wine Insider and asked to do a review of their wines. So let's get the business out of the way. All right. Number one, I do not receive any money or any paid promotion for talking about these wines. Number two, this is not a representation of how all their wines taste. My opinion is my opinion alone, and its opinion is only about these wines that I have here. So it doesn't say that all their wines are good, bad, or indifferent. You must take yourself to decide that. Number three, in no way am I endorsing Wine Insider to say, hey, you must join our wine club, or am I endorsing the purchases of these wines? This is strictly a review, in my opinion, on what I think about the wines. So you can see I have 6 wines in front of me. Now, I'm not going to taste all 6 wines today. That was once upon a time. However, though, over the course of the next 2 weeks, this week starting today, I'm going to be tasting 2. I'm going to be tasting 2 wines over the course of the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to move 4 of these wines out of the way so we can focus on what we're doing today. So now, how this all came to be. So as I said, I got tapped on the shoulder, had to make a choice of selections, and I went did some research on Wine Insider and check out their website, and I had a choice between maybe 5 or 6 different 6-pack wines, which were all very interesting. All very interesting wines. It was very, very hard for me to choose. There was an all white, there was an Italian, there was a all red, there was a red and white. But I settled on all French wines. So the 6 wines I had in front of me were all wines from France. It's called the French 6-pack. I figured, you know what? That can be a very interesting lesson. Showcasing wines all from France. All right. I always like to go back and try wines from France anyway. So today, with our 2 wines, we are going to be tasting 2 wines coming from France out of Wine Insiders. They're curators of various wines from all over the world. All right, so check out their website. See what you think. We're going to be sampling a Rosé of Malbec 2019 from Georges Vigouroux. Wow, I love rosé, especially I love French rosé. We're going to get more details about that shortly. And then we're going to be sampling a Bordeaux wine, Chateau Redon 2018 Bordeaux. So let's get the education out of the way, because this is like, I have to try to condense this, and it'll go on and on and on. So let's start first with the Bordeaux. So Bordeaux, for those who know, is a wine region in France. Bordeaux being one of the famous wine regions in France, and there are others, but today it's just Bordeaux. So how do we break down Bordeaux? Because it can be very confusing. I'm going to see if I can do it really simple. So you have the classification. I believe that was 1855. The classification, the upper echelon, the classification of wines. These are a group of wineries or chateaus that produce the absolute best wines. They have the absolute best growing area. They have the absolute best grapes to produce the best wines. But then it comes back to your palate. Now, these are also the most expensive wines in most cases, all right? So that's the upper echelon classification, 1855. Then we go down to another classification or appellation, which will be the AOC. AOC, Appellation Original Contrôlée. Now, this particular appellation or designation states that there are strict guidelines on how these wines can be produced. There are certain grapes, there's all these details. Certain grapes can be used, the blend, etc. Now, let's tell you this. Bordeaux is broken off into 2 parts. Right bank, left bank, which is dominated by 2 entirely different grapes. Merlot on the right side, Cabernet on the left side. Even though both sides grow Cabernet, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, some even grow some Malbec, etc. However, but you get more of the Malbec on the right side. However, right bank, Merlot, left bank, Cabernet dominant. Now, the wines that I have here today, doing my research, are all from the right bank, which is going to be pretty cool because I'm a right bank kind of a guy, meaning I like Merlot. Okay, so it's going to be very interesting. It'd be nice to compare by side, but we'll go with it that way. So now, So I have the AOC. Bordeaux is broken off into two. We have the AOC, Appellation Original Contrôlée, all right, guidelines. Then we have, in this case, ABC. You probably just see if you can see that. Appellation Bordeaux Contrôlée, or simply put on the front of the label, Bordeaux. What that means is that there aren't the strict guidelines. However, the fruit that's used, or the grapes that are used, must come or will come from the Bordeaux region. Okay, so they can pick and choose from different regions, do different blends, not a whole bunch of different, not a whole lot of guidelines, but other than coming from the Bordeaux area to be called a Bordeaux. But there's a lot more lax, you know, for the winemaker and making the wine. Then you have in between there, you have what's called Bordeaux Superior. All right, I don't have any of those here today, but I might as well put that in. So you have the classification, you have the AOC, you have the Bordeaux Superior, which we're going to talk about now, and then you have the ABC. Doesn't mean that it's less value of less quality. It's just a simple designation. So the superior means that we have, you know, some regulations, but not a lot. But we're saying that they say that the quality is better, but that's a matter of taste, right? Okay. So that's Bordeaux in a nutshell. All right. Do the research, check it out, see what you think. Then we're going to go to east of Bordeaux, east Bordeaux, more like southwest, okay, of Bordeaux. We're going to be looking at Malbec, okay, Malbec and Rose. So this area comes from the region of Comté-Tolosan, right, southwestern part of Bordeaux, and they're producing, you know, more like the Malbecs. Okay, so the Malbec, even though you get some Malbecs in Bordeaux, primarily in the right bank in the blend, but there's a whole section in the area called Cahors, C-A-H-O-R-S. Excuse my French pronunciation, I'll do my best. You know, which they produce primarily Malbecs. They also do some whites in the area also, but we're talking about Malbec. This isn't from the Cahors area, but it's from the Comté, C-O-M-T-E, Tolosan region. Now, what I found very interesting is that you probably never heard of VDP or Vin de Paillet. Well, there's a designation that replaced the VDP or Vin de Paillet called IGP, Indication Géographique Protégée. IGP, remember that, okay? So it kind of replaces that. So those two terms are used interchangeably. Again, it's just designating an area of where these wines come from and the fruit that's produced from it, and with some guidelines, okay? So very simple. Do the research, check it out, see what you think. There's IGP and Bordeaux. So let's get down to why we're here. The same rules apply. Thumbs up or double thumbs up, highly recommend. Thumbs up, I recommend the wine. 3/4, you know, I would drink the wine. I'd probably keep some bottles on hand. Halfway says, you know, not so much for me, but you give it a try. Thumbs down, whoa, didn't make the cut. So let's give it a pour. I took the liberty of opening up the wines early to save some time. I was speaking, so you probably hear that fizz coming out of this one here. I have a slight chill in the rosé. I didn't want to make it too cold, but just a slight chill in the rosé because I want to let the flavors come through. Ordinarily, you serve the rosé chilled. I kind of like my rosés not as chilled. Then I have the Bordeaux, which is set at room temperature for me. In my case, where I keep the wine stored, we're talking about 65 degrees. All right, now, get a look at that. Take a look at the color. A nice salmon color on the rosé, or kind of pinkish, darkish pinkish color on the rosé. Depth and color on the Bordeaux red. I mean, looking down inside the bottle, I mean, that's a nice deep purple color there. All right. So again, Merlot dominant. I'm gonna taste the rosé first. Ooh, just the nose on both of these. Wow. Now, it's funny about Malbec. When you think about Malbec, you think more about the Argentina. It's so familiar, but Malbec's origination is in France, you know, and which they do pretty good Malbecs. So we're not talking about deep, inky Malbecs. We're talking about Malbecs with finesse, okay? That's what we're looking at when we talk about French Malbecs. In this case, it's rosé. Now, when you make a rosé, ooh, things change. So it's not going to be, there's undertones of dark berries, but in the front, we're talking, you know, red fruits, melon notes, you know, with a little citrus. Wow, that's nice. That's nice on the nose. All right, so it kind of changes, you know, when you take a deep a typical deep red wine and take the grape and make it into a rosé. Now for the Bordeaux, right bank, Merlot dominant. Nice spice, so there's spice there. Kind of mineral or earthy, you can call it. Dark berry spice. Wow. I'm looking forward to tasting these. So here we go. We're going to do the rosé first. Now for me, for both wines, we're looking for acidity. No acidity, no go, no play. Here we go. Now, soft to medium acidity. Okay, mouth is watering. We are at 11.5% alcohol. It's not going to be a big wine, but it's going to be a wine that's going to showcase some elegance. Okay, kind of like more that dark berry fruit, almost plummy on the finish. That was just a rinse, almost plummy on the finish, and it has a nice length to it, or aftertaste, we call it that. Again, I like the acidity. All right, so that's the Malbec. So far, so good. Now let's do the Bordeaux. Notice how I get a complete rinse. All right, so the Bordeaux. Tannins. All right, not gripping, but chewy. Okay, gives it a little bit structure to it. All right, nice acidity. Definitely a good finish. Now, for me, it's a style that I enjoy. I like a little bit of tannins. You know, not gripping, but you know, chewy tannins. You know, and I like the blending. What I'm looking for now is to see, are those tannins so strong that I can't just sit and enjoy this wine on its own? That's what I'm looking for. You know, can I still taste the fruit? All right, let's give it another taste. Dark berries, little spice like anise, plum. You know, so very nice. So now for the simple grape. So for the rosé, I'm gonna go. It's funny when you go back to here, you lose the acidity. More acidity is in the red. For the rosé, I'm gonna go, and probably the tannins. I'm gonna go with the thumbs up though. You know, my first impression, the thumbs up on the Georges Vigouroux 2019 rosé. I mean, I like that it's just elegant. You know, it's elegant. It's reserved. You know, it does a good job. It's dry, but it doesn't skip on the fruit. You know, I think you would enjoy this. You know, I think it'll make a very good, just even everyday drinking wine. You know, so thumbs up on that. And now for the Bordeaux. For the Bordeaux, I'm going to go with 3/4. All right, 3/4 because the tannins. I think the tannins that exist is probably it takes over a little bit too much. You know, of the mouthfeel. You know, the fruit is still there, but that's why it's getting a 3/4 because of the tannins. But I think it's still a pretty good solid wine. I think it'd be great with food. You know, watch out for, you know, how much flavor your food is, because I think it's kind of soft on flavor. It's coming in at 14% alcohol, you know, but I don't get no alcohol burn whatsoever. You know, so again, here we go. The Georges Vigouroux 2019 Malbec, thumbs up, nice elegant type of rosé, and then the Chateau Redon is 3/4. All right, so it's your Wisconsin wine guy saying, as always, let your palate be the guide selecting your next wine. I look forward to reviewing the remaining 4 wines. I'll see you next week. Ciao, bye.